introduced on the floor?
No, it wasn't. As you well know, that there was only one amendment. The Stupak Amendment was the only amendment that was offered on the House floor. Most of the negotiation was done all with House leadership, and there was a lot of things that were changed and altered. But the Stupak Amendment, which is basically the Hyde Amendment, the abortion amendment, was the only rule made in order, which through, the legislation, you know ahead of time what's going to be offered, what's going to be allowed, and what's not going to be allowed. So it wasn't an open process. Yes, sir.
Well, I have to take exception with one thing that you said, which is that the Stupak Amendment is basically the Hyde Amendment. It isn't, because the Hyde Amendment pertains to public funds, whereas the Stupak Amendment covers private funds that take part in the exchange. So that's a little disingenuous, I think. But also, considering that women are the most thoroughly Democratic voting group, unless you look at racial considerations in the country, aren't you kind of kicking your base by voting for that amendment, which you did?
My convictions and my faith and who I am as a person far exceeds anything I'll ever do as a member of Congress.
But you represent a lot of other things.
I do.
If that's your primary concern, sir, maybe you're in the wrong line of work.
Well, you have to make those decisions. There wasn't a single person in this district that didn't know my stance on abortion from the very beginning, how I voted. From the time that I elected to run for office, everyone knew my stance. And anytime there are federal funds that are actually going, and there are subsidies within those areas, and along with the Congressional Budget Office, along with the Speaker's Office, all of them indicated that there are federal funds that actually go to those independent, insurance companies. So it's not along with private funds, but there are federal funds that are actually going to those to subsidize people's health insurance. So there, in effect, basically says by the law that we have, the Hyde Amendment that's put in every single appropriations. Okay, every year we go through the same exact process. When it goes and it's put into effect, it's kind of funny that people now just want to talk about it. And it goes in every single year, and we've all voted on it or against it, however people perceive it. And some people they'll vote for their appropriations, but they won't vote it as a standalone. And as we well know, we saw what happened, and it was an overwhelming majority of the House actually voted for the legislation. And at some point in time, when I'm out of office and I have to look at how I voted on particular issues, and when it comes to the way I was raised and who I am as a person, that particular issue will always be the way I vote. People knew that before I was going into office.
Congressman, you got